when observation became a physical force. At first, it sounded like a metaphor. Observation was passive. Looking could not change reality, but physics revealed something far more disturbing. Observation was not just awareness, it was interaction. And under the right conditions, it behaved like a force, reshaping outcomes as surely as a push or a pull. To understand why this matters today, we need to revisit a line scientists once believed they would never cross: the line between knowing and doing. Measurement was supposed to reveal properties that already existed. Observation was meant to be harmless. That belief collapsed when experiments showed that simply detecting a system altered its behavior, not through heat, not through impact, but through information exchange itself. To observe was to interact, and interaction changed the system. This forced a reevaluation of force. Forces were no longer limited to contact or fields. Information had consequences. Knowing which path a particle took removed interference. Gaining certainty destroyed possibility. The first reactions were defensive. Surely this was a limitation of tools. Surely better instruments would restore neutrality. But every improvement sharpened the effect. Precision made observation more influential, not less. This marked a turning point. Observation stopped being a window into reality and became part of its machinery. The universe was not waiting to be seen. It was reacting to being known. And once observation crossed that line, physics could no longer pretend that measurement was free. As this idea took hold, it blurred distinctions that once felt solid. Cause and effect tangled. Measurement and interaction overlapped. The act of extracting information left a footprint that could not be erased. This created tension with classical thinking. In everyday life, observation feels harmless. Watching a falling object does not alter its path. Listening does not change a sound. But at fundamental scales, the universe operates differently. Information is not abstract. It is physical. Each bit of information requires interaction, energy exchange, correlation, and those interactions inevitably influence what is being observed. There is no way to ask a question without touching the system that answers it. This realization forced a deeper understanding of force itself. Forces are mechanisms for exchanging information about position, momentum, and state. Observation became another channel, subject to the same constraints. As experiments pushed further, the consequences multiplied. Attempts to monitor systems continuously altered their evolution. Watching prevented change. Looking too closely froze motion. Observation acted as resistance. This was not mystical. It was mechanical. The universe was enforcing a cost for knowledge. To know more, you had to disturb more. Precision demanded influence. By this point, observation had fully crossed into the physical realm. It was no longer separate from dynamics. It was part of them. And that transformation was leading toward a final, uncomfortable realization. The conflict intensified when physicists realized this effect was not limited to tiny systems. It scaled with control. The more tightly a system was monitored, the more its natural behavior was suppressed. Observation did not just disturb outcomes, it could dominate them. This led to a striking phenomenon. Systems under constant observation refused to evolve. Change slowed. Transition stalled. It was as if attention itself acted as a brake on reality. Watching became a form of confinement. This build-up challenged intuition again. Influence was no longer about strength. It was about frequency. Repeated measurement overwhelmed natural dynamics, forcing systems into rigid states. Observation became a kind of pressure, shaping behavior without force in the traditional sense. The universe was revealing a new principle. Freedom requires ignorance. Possibility requires uncertainty. The moment outcomes are tracked too closely, options collapse. Motion narrows. Choice disappears. Emotionally, this was unsettling. Knowledge was supposed to empower. Instead, it constrained. Understanding carried a price. The deeper you looked, the less the system could move freely. By this point, observation had fully transformed from passive witness to active participant. It guided evolution. It enforced limits. And it did so without any visible push or pull. The buildup was complete. One final insight remained. If observation could freeze, redirect, or reshape reality, then it was no longer metaphorical. It was undeniably physical. The climax arrives with a realization that still feels counterintuitive. Observation is not just a way of seeing the universe. It is one of the ways the universe acts. Once this was accepted, physics gained a new humility. There was no perfect vantage point, no neutral observer. Every act of measurement became part of the system being measured. This insight reshaped quantum control, computing, and precision measurement. It explained why monitoring can stabilize systems, why noise can sometimes prevent decay, why watching can change outcomes. More deeply, it reshaped perspective. Knowledge is not free. Every answer carries a cost. The universe charges for certainty by limiting possibility. Today, this principle operates quietly in laboratories and technologies around the world. It governs what can be known, how systems behave, and where limits appear. Observation has become a physical force, not by pushing but by constraining. The universe is not offended by curiosity, but it does not allow it without consequence. To observe is to participate, and once that line is crossed, reality is never quite the same. So what do you think? Are we repeating the same mistake again?